What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we are once again gonna be talking about Fnatic. They obviously have a lot of different situations going on again after a pretty disappointing spring split, having a lot of expiring contracts after this next summer split, and having some financial issues. They are looking to make a lot of moves. There are gonna be some big changes coming to Fnatic in the future, and these are all gonna be big stories because this is a very popular team, a massive esports organization, a very historic League of Legends team, and a lot of popular players. And today, obviously, in the top lane, we're going to be talking about Bwipo and his kind of ongoing situation because we've gotten some more tweets, some more rumors, but then also we got a little clip from Bwipo's Twitch stream, I do believe, where he kind of talks about what his future might hold, what his future might entail, and kind of some of the different options that he's considering. This is actually really interesting stuff to actually hear from the mouth of Bwipo himself to get some insight, maybe not from like, you know, a random Twitter account, but from the man himself. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second and smash that like button. I would appreciate it so much. It really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. It helps get my video seen by more and more people. The more likes, the more engagement, the more interactions, the more YouTube pushes it. So that would be awesome. It's a really great way to help support me, my content, and my channel if you're interested in doing that. Also, subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content so you guys don't miss out on anything we got going on in the future. Bloop tweeted out that this was going to be a big week for rumors, news, and stories. So, hey, apparently we're going to have a lot of videos coming out, MSI, all that stuff. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, Applehead, one of the big LCS, LEC rumor and discussion accounts. He was a big one for me. He's been pretty cool. He seems like a cool guy. He has a lot of good stories. He has a lot of sources and stuff. I definitely recommend checking him out on Twitter if you guys are looking for, you know, a new account to follow or something. But he tweeted out, it seems quite likely that Bwipo will not be the sole starter for Fnatic. This is something I talked about a couple days ago. You know, it does look like more and more that Fnatic is reaching out to other top laners. They're looking at mostly European Regional League top laners because, one, there are some really good ones. There are some absolutely talented guys popping off in European Masters right now, and having a chance to get a young talented guy into your roster, into your ecosystem, and develop them up and maybe have them be the star of tomorrow is awesome. Also, Fnatic is having some financial issues, so being able to go after an ERL top laner, those guys are going to be a lot cheaper. You know, those guys are playing on amateur teams, getting amateur salaries and stuff right now. You know, they're going to accept a nice little bump into the LEC. It's an awesome opportunity to, you know, level up their career, but then also a chance for them to make some more money. But Fnatic to be getting somebody relatively cheap and seeing if they can get more production than they're paying them for, which would be absolutely awesome for a team kind of in a tough financial situation. So it makes a lot of sense for both parties here. Also, Bwipo coming off a pretty inconsistent spring split. But again, he does have an expiring contract at the end of summer split. So Fnatic is going to need to decide long-term what their top lane situation is going to be. Maybe it's going to be Bwipo. Maybe they do decide to stick with him. But maybe they know they're not bringing Bwipo back. Maybe they don't know what to do in the top lane. Maybe they're not sure who they want, who they can get. So by doing a 6-man roster in the summer split, they can try out an SLT. They can try out an Adam. They can try out a young top laner, see how it works. If they come up and they suck, well, then they can try another one heading into the next spring split. And then if he's good, then they have their top laner for the future. And then if Bwipo, you know, uses that 6-man roster as motivation and really it kind of lights a fire under him, and maybe he has an awesome split, then they have another top. Like, I think this is a really good situation for Fnatic. I don't really think there is much downside because, you know, sometimes the downside is like, a 6-man roster can be hard to synergize with. A 6-man roster can make everyone play worse. A 6-man roster can, you know, be really hard and taxing on the team's mental, or it can tilt people, blah, 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 blah. But, like, Fnatic just finished 5th place in the regular season. They just finished 5th place in the playoffs. If this next split goes bad, that's fine. They're not coming into this split with too many expectations. You know, they're really close to blowing this roster up anyway. They're going to have a ton of new players, a ton of new faces for the future. So it's not like they're committed to anything too long-term here. So even if it all blows up, even if the 6-man roster works out horribly, you know, they weren't really expected to go to Worlds at this point anyway. So it won't really matter as long as they're actually working towards something for the future. So Applehead says he has not heard anything about, or he's not heard anything that would point towards a transfer, because that's something that I've kind of talked about. Like, if Fnatic doesn't think Bwipo is going to be around for the future, why would they not sell him? Why would they not try and get some money? Because otherwise Bwipo is just going to leave in the offseason for free, and a team that needs some money, you know, maybe they could make some money selling off Bwipo, but maybe the right offers aren't out there. You know, between spring and summer, it's kind of tough. Not everyone has an opening in the top lane, so those things don't always work out. And maybe they do still think they're still kind of holding out for Bwipo to bounce back in the summer split and continue continue to be their top laner in the future, that could definitely be something too. But he does say he has heard many rumors that would point towards a 6-man roster for the summer split. It seems Fnatic is aware of their chances of bringing him back after contract extension. Changes will likely be announced in the upcoming week. They're talking about this week, Monday through Friday. Hopefully we hear something. I'm definitely expecting to hear that stuff because summer split's getting closer and closer. Teams got to start, finalizing some stuff here. Many names are floating around, but it does seem a forerunner for the position is SLT, a French player from the organization BIG, that's Berlin International Gaming in the ERL. Again, I'm hearing another name is Adam for K-Corp that could be definitely in the mix. But this is kind of the most recent update on the Bwipo situation. It does seem like a 6-man roster is coming for Fnatic. Then this person did reply that a French streamer from Solare said that Bwipo is benched. So there is kind of mixed stories, mixed rumors and stuff out there. But no matter what, it does seem like at the least Bwipo will have some competition, and it at least seems like he will not be starting every single game in the summer for Fnatic. Who knows exactly how many? Who knows what the splits are going to be? Who knows who's going to get more chances, more opportunities, more scrims? I don't know exactly, but it seems like Fnatic is very, very interested in, finding somebody new in the top lane and definitely trying something out. So this Twitch clip came up on my recommended for YouTube. It's called Bwipo's honest opinion on his future in League of Legends, which I thought was perfectly timed. Obviously, people are asking him about this stuff. He knows the stories that are going around. He knows he didn't play great in the spring split. He knows his contract is expiring. He knows big changes are coming in the future. So I appreciate him talking about this stuff and being open and honest. So let's see what the man Bwipo himself has to say about this.
Points on Gangplank. Would I challenge myself and go to an NA team? There's only one NA team that I'm very interested in, and then other than that, I would, I'm not 100% sure. Again, for me, like, honestly...
So I thought that was really, really interesting. He is saying that there is a North American team he would consider going to. Now, when you're talking about just one team, obviously it's got to be one of the 3 teams that comes to mind first. The 3 options would definitely be Team Liquid, Cloud9, or TSM. And who knows exactly which of the 3 it is. When I kind of think through it, I would think it's not Team Liquid because they literally just signed Alfari. He just finished 2nd in the MVP voting, was arguably the MVP. Certainly people voted for him as the MVP of the league. Coming off a very, very good split. It seems like he is the top laner of the future for Team Liquid. It seems like he's going to be around there for 2+ years. Team Liquid does not even seem like an option. So if you're saying Team Liquid was the only team you'd go to, then I think you would just say, no, I'm not considering going to NA, because they're not replacing Alfari, especially, they're not replacing Alfari. It would have to be somebody insane. It's not happening. So Team Liquid is not really even an option. So then that kind of gets down between Cloud9 and TSM, which I think are honestly both very, very realistic options. TSM, obviously, we're hearing about Power of Evil potentially getting his green card either this summer or this winter, which would make TSM have an extra import slot open for spring 2022. And Huni was very, very solid for TSM. I believe he got 3rd team all LCS this past split. But I think most people would argue that Bwipo is probably an upgrade over Huni, especially in Huni's current form. And Bwipo would maybe fit into TSM really, really well. He would maybe give them, a big carry option and some craziness, some excitement, some playmaking that they kind of desperately need because they've been really lacking in that regard. But also, I could see the arguments that Bwipo doesn't really fit into TSM's playstyle at all. He maybe is a little too crazy, a little too chaotic, a little too out of control. But Bwipo has done very, very well against TSM historically. So I would, be interested to see what they thought about him. Also, some people, especially people who've been around League of Legends for a long time, TSM was the team back in the day. I mean, they are still the biggest team in North America now, but they were the team back in the day. So if you're a European who watched League of Legends, who watched LCS, you were probably a TSM fan. You probably at least thought TSM was really big and really cool and really popular. Obviously, they have a ton of haters too, and he could be a guy who's just always hated TSM and would never play for them ever. I don't know. I don't exactly sure. No, I haven't heard, old Bwipo clips or anything like that. Maybe if somebody has some more insight on the topic, they would know whether he loves or hates TSM. But it could absolutely be TSM. But I think Cloud9 would maybe even make the most sense now. I don't know how close Sven is to his green card, so I don't know how close Cloud9 is to having another import slot open. So that would make it a little bit tough. Obviously, they're not likely to replace Perks or Sven. Yes, Bwipo for Fudge would be probably a massive upgrade, depending on how Bwipo can kind of bounce back from this last spring split, depending on how Fudge continues to develop into the future. Also, Bwipo seems like a great fit for that Cloud9 style. You know, guys like Blabber, Perked, who play this crazy, fun, exciting style. Bwipo would kind of fit in with that perfectly, and it seems like he fits the Cloud9 brand and Cloud9 just atmosphere and everything. So if he's talking about Cloud9, I think that would make a lot of sense as well. But again, would he say Cloud9? Because Cloud9 is a much more difficult situation because, I mean, unless he knows something we don't, that Sven's really close to his green card, they don't have an import slot, and they're not going to be looking for a new top laner anytime soon. So if you were talking about just one team, TSM becomes the most realistic, the most likely possibility because they are really close to having an import slot open. They're the only of the top 3 teams that could have an import slot open and have a top lane position open, because Core JJ is close to his green card for Team Liquid as well, but they don't have a position open in the top lane. Cloud9 doesn't have an import slot. TSM could potentially have both. And then other than that, I don't think he would be talking about any other organization in North America. You know, he's a guy who's looking to go to Worlds, looking to have big performances and stuff. But again, it is at least interesting to me that he's saying he would consider a move to North America under the right circumstances, and that's, you know, pretty exciting.
My performance is really important to me, so if I don't feel like I can contribute to a team, I don't think I'll be playing competitive league for that much. So that's why this split for me, this next split, is very important for me. If I have another bad split, I'll probably have a long think about what I want to do.
So I thought this was also really big. He says if I have another bad split, so he is, you know, recognizing and realizing that he did have a bad split. And I think that's really good, because honestly, a lot of the times we'll see these players have bad splits, and then when people call them out, when people say, yeah, this guy's kind of underperforming, this guy's not really doing that hot right now, they'll get super defensive, and they'll be like, oh, fuck these analysts, they don't even know what they're talking about, oh, like, you don't even know what goes on behind the scenes, oh, blah, 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 and they'll get like super defensive, and they'll try and rationalize how they're playing good, and you guys are just idiots, blah, blah, when, you know, they're clearly just not playing very good. And I'm sure they're, you know, like getting scared about losing their job, and I'm sure they're stressed out, and I'm sure they're frustrated and all that. But Bwipo's understanding, like, yeah, I didn't have a good split. If I have another not good split, then that'd be a couple in a row. Then maybe I'm, you know, not that good. Maybe I need to do something else. Maybe I need to look at other opportunities. And, you know, but I think it's really cool because he seems very focused. He seems very motivated, and like, you know, I need to bounce back here. I cannot have another split like the last split I had. I love that mindset for a player, for anyone in anything competitive or really anything in life where you're trying to get better, where you're trying to improve, when you're trying to be the best. This is the best mindset. I love hearing this from Bwipo, you know, understanding that last split was not good enough, and I need to do better, and I'm going to do better. And you know, then more options will open for me, and then things are going to, you know, start opening up. But, you know, having this little short off season of him being in that improvement focused mindset of I need to be better in the next split, that's going to be really great for him. And I do think we have a high possibility of seeing a very improved Bwipo headed into summer. And I think that could be really cool. But yeah, he is saying that if I have another bad split, I'll consider other options, because we have talked about in the past how coaching could definitely be in Bwipo's future. Content creation could definitely be in Bwipo's future, but a lot of things, but the biggest thing that people are talking about is potentially Bwipo joining the LEC broadcast to some extent, which I think sounds like just perfect for Bwipo. I think he fits into the LEC broadcast so great. You know, he has that charisma, that energy, that goofiness that fits in with the LEC. He obviously has a high game knowledge, you know, all that, the right background. He's well spoken. He can get his thoughts out and stuff. He is kind of like a natural on that broadcast, and that could be a way for him to make a very solid amount of money in a much less stressful environment, probably doing something he loves, still being involved with the game, still being involved in the competitive scene. And I think that just makes so much sense. So that's the thing, that if Bwipo you know, continues to maybe not play so well, continues to have mixed results, he doesn't need to keep playing professionally. If he's not having a good time, if it's stressful, if it sucks for him, he has other options. He has put himself in a good enough position where he's made a lot of money, and he can continue to make a lot of money doing some other things. So, you know, it sounds like there is a way that he could consider retirement and stuff as well. You never know. So hopefully this next split goes good for Bwipo. It could be the last we see of him. It could be the last we see of him in Europe. You know, we don't really know what is going to happen, but it's going to be very interesting and very exciting to watch. Oh, excuse me. It's going to be very interesting and very exciting to watch this all unfold. Whatever happens with the Fnatic top lane situation, whatever happens with the Bwipo situation, We're going to find out soon. But that is pretty much it for this video today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for watching. I'd really, really appreciate it if you did drop a like on this video. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. Leave a comment down below. What do you think Bwipo should do? You think he should go to NA, stay in Europe, go to casting? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully, I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.